Okay, so I am live and I'm going to flip the camera around in a second, but I just thought I would just say what I'm doing anyway. Yep, you might be bored, you might want to know about Fathead. I think it's worth actually seeing how I actually make it to get the really smooth consistency. So I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to actually stick you in a top down. I'll show you in a minute like what it actually looks like that I've got set up in front of me. And you'll be able to actually watch me create this Fathead live. I'm going to make it into a scroll because it's a new recipe that's coming out on the website anyway. So I thought I'd show you. Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around and you're going to have to be put into the, let me just show you. So as you can see, I've got a big light at me and the cyclone that is our house, of course. And we've got all the ingredients in that laid out, plus some of the things I've been working on in the kitchen today anyway. And I'm going to pop you up in here. So hopefully that will work without losing it. Oops, have I lost you? Turn that around. There we go. Now I'm just going to get that into a better position so you can see properly. There's a bit of shadow. But anyway, we can go for this. So in my bowl already, I've got 65 grams of cream cheese because that's about the only thing I really had to measure. I've got scales set underneath. So right now I'm going to put 250 grams of grated mozzarella. Now, people ask me what ones I use. I don't use anything fancy. You can see I've got a Woolies brand and a Coles brand. Doesn't really matter any difference for me. So I just pop in the rest of that one. And yeah, so this is if you can buy this. So of course you can, because I know there's shortages around at the moment. If you do find some, grab some and pop it in the freezer if need be, but it does last a long time in the fridge. Okay, so that's 250 grams and the cream cheese. I'm going to pop that into the microwave now for 2 minutes. It doesn't make a lot of noise though. So yeah, I just use those all the time, but if you can't find those at the moment, just buy the whole ones and grate them up yourself. You can use other cheeses, like I've got this one here for a filling for my scrolls today, which you can see it's got the cheddar, mozzarella and parmesan in it as well. Alternatively, like use the tasty cheeses and that, but the mozzarella is usually better because it's just like the fat content in it and the stringiness and that as well too. So what else is going in it today? I've got some almond meal and I'm hoping this is going to be enough because I'm going to need 150 grams and that's all the almond meal I've got in the house, so I'll be making my own. A couple of eggs. So again, this is just a standard brand. I usually always try and get free range eggs. So they're a large egg. My eggs are always at room temperature for baking, so that I'll keep this up going so you know I'm actually here. So with a room temperature egg, you don't get that egginess. So if you're ever making any breads, whether they're one of my recipes or somebody else's recipes, and you use cold eggs in them, then that's why you'll get that eggy flavor. So if you do store your eggs in the fridge, then just pop them in a glass of warm water while you're getting other things ready, and that should bring them up to temperature anyway. So we're going to be putting in a teaspoon of xanthan gum. You can leave it out if you want to, but I do not. So your consistency will end up differently because I know some people don't like their xanthan gum. You could substitute a little bit of flax, psyllium husk, or even a little bit of golden flax. And I always use the double acting baking powder. It's gluten free, it's got no aluminium in it, and you will see a bit of a difference versus your, I always forget, I think it's Mackenzie's, is that what it's called? That's at Woolies and Coles. Anyway, that normal brand that everybody else has. But you will see, a bit of a difference in how it rises, because it actually rises both in the cool and in the warm, or it helps to rise, and that's going to make it all foam up and that as well too. If you don't have this, just maybe add a little bit of bicarb or baking soda. Okay, so as I said, I microwaved this for 2 minutes, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stir my cheese and cream cheese together and make sure it's well combined. You're not going to go and have a conversation on the phone for half an hour and then come back to this because it won't work, right? So you can see it's all stringy and it's all gone nice and white from the cream cheese. So I'm hoping you're seeing this because I can't really see the top of the screen. It's a little bit higher than me. Then what I do is I actually add my 2 eggs now. So this is the important part. It's the sequence. Just excuse me while I throw it across the room into the sink. Okay. Then I'm going to add my 1.5 tablespoons of the baking soda. So this is why I'm like measuring anything out so you can actually see everything as I do it. 1, and then I'll just take a guess and a half. Okay, this is where the magic happens, and this is where we've got to start looking at what we do with our fathead dough. I'm just moving the almond meal over here so I don't forget any ingredients. So I've got a xanthan and almond meal still to go. And just break those yolks, even just with my spatula, so no fancy machinery or anything like that for this. Now you're going to start to see this cheese completely transform. Are you seeing what is actually happening? It's starting to foam and froth a lot. So you can see it's like, and you can probably hear it. See, now that is like completely different than what it was. So I've mixed that in, and I'm going to quickly just add in my 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum. I never used to use a measure, but because I'm always creating recipes for you guys, I now use measures so that I'm doing exactly what you guys are going to be doing. And then I need my set of scales again, and I'm going to measure out my 150 grams of almond meal. So I've just tared that, so while it's got the bowl and the spatula in it, it'll still work out. Let's hope we've got enough. There we go. That was 153 for anybody wondering. So then what I do is I fold it in. Yes, there might be a little bit that will come over the side, and you can start to hear the bubbles popping. And that'll be from the fat in the almond meal and the xanthan starting to make it into a dough. Now, when people are asking me if my fathead is wet, well, my actual fathead dough is only 1 egg, so it should be drier than this, right? But you can see this is like really coming together now. So what I do is I just keep working it until I know it's all combined. You can see it's getting really stiff now. And even though it's not even ready yet, you can see it's not really that sticky either. So you just keep going until you've got something that actually resembles a dough. I mean, it's crazy to think that cheese can become something similar to a dough. I mean, I will not say that in any way is fathead like a bread. I don't think it's anything like a bread. It's far more rich, far more fatty, and softer. But hey, I think in scrolls and that, it is just perfect. In my bagels, I actually do prefer, in my keto breads ebook, the parmesan and garlic ones, just because they've got like, you know, a bit more flavour, and it sort of really, yeah, it just makes the dough taste a lot nicer. Okay, so you can see that that's now something that actually resembles a dough. So let's just see if it doesn't stick to my fingers, even though I've got stuff stuck to the back of my hands. So as you can see, dry. Exactly the same ingredients for the bagels and scrolls. You could even use this as a standard fathead. You can use it for your pizza bases or whatever. But again, like I said, it's quite rich, and you'd really want to stretch it out because it is 250 grams of mozzarella in this one, versus my normal fathead's only around about 170 grams, I think. Okay, so it doesn't need a lot of work when it's at this point. What I'll do is I actually pull out a bit of cling wrap. You can do this with another silicone mat. Oh, and I'm struggling with the cling wrap. It's a brand new roll. So what you can do, let's see if we move that out of the way. Let's put this out. Pop that in there. And even if that was sticking to my hands, I could work the dough with the plastic, and you can see like how that comes out really good. Okay. So what I'm going to do now though is, oh, I punched a hole in it. I'm really having a good one with that anyway. Should be fine. So now I'm going to shape it out into a rectangle. Now, as you know, it's got baking powder in it, and that's going to rise, right? So we want the dough to be relatively thin. Just trying to see that you can see what I'm doing. I love it when I do a video and then I realise you can't see my hands. So anyway, squish, 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 squish. Just moving that because it's got the hole in it. I think I've measured it out in the recipe that's coming out, but I usually say it's roughly around about 30 by 45 or so that I push mine out into. You can see I'm just roughly shaping it into a rectangle. Oh, I was going to show rolling this around a hand, but it's a bit late now. But I have got that on video. I videoed myself making 2 bagels earlier today because I've made another kind of fatheady thing. As you can see here, testing lots of different things, and know the things in the little, I think they're like a little poffishy, however you say it, pan. We're not fathead either because it has no cheese in it. Okay, so now I've rolled that out. I'm doing mine today as bacon, cheese, and jalapeno. You could put things like goat's cheese in here, grated halloumi cheese, olives, mushrooms, whatever you want. Like if you had your favorite Baker's Delight rolls back in the day, make yours. I used to love cheese and mushroom. Like I think they were like a pickled champignon style mushroom. They were so good, and they were like pretty rare at Baker's Delights anyway. So sprinkle some more cheese on it. You're nothing like more cheese on a bread made of cheese. And then I've got some bacon here. I'm going to just scatter that all over. So don't forget, if you're at home and you've been baking, share your little photos or videos if you're making them and that at home as well on the group. That would be fun. There we go. Okay, so we've got our bacon there. Now I've just got some jalapenos. Scatter those around. Wow, I was like really light on these jalapenos. Oh, I'm a tight ass. Usually our stuff with jalapenos is pretty loaded. Mind you, we've got a huge bowl of chilies over there, but Dave needs to get in the dehydrator. Okay, so we've got our bread here. Yeah, I probably could have pulled that out a little bit more if I was doing this not on video. I would have taken the effort to try and square all this up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that could have been nice and thick there, so I'd get like a thick roll on the end. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start to roll my scrolls. So as you can see, I'm just using the silicone mat. As I always say, silicone mats are amazing. Oh yeah, good. I've got my cutter over there. So now I can just probably, that would have been pretty funny if I just totally stuffed that up anyway. But as I said, like, you know, you could, if you stuffed this with more cheese and things like that, that would be a lot better because mine is a little bit uneven at this moment. And then all you have to do is cut. So you just cut. See how you can see your perfect scrolls? Now I could have put nigella seeds or something like that on here. I could even like sprinkle them over now if I wanted to. So I've actually got some here, so I might just do that because I love my nigella seeds. So if I'd done it on the mat, they would have pressed in a lot better. But anyway, you can still just and then yeah, just cut them into whatever size you want. Now these will grow, that I will, whatever you call it, puff up. I've got this little bit of extra dough here. And we'll just pop that inside like that. Hey, look at that. Now I'm going to pop these in the oven. They're probably going to take around about 20 to 30 minutes to cook. Just test them as they go, depending on your temperature. I'm cooking them at 180, that's Celsius. And I'll just post a picture of what these look like later. But anyway, I'm going to pull you off the stand. Oops. It's telling me to rotate the camera. I don't know what this thing is now. Okay, so this is what we've got. You can see there's some that look perfect. But yeah, the more time you take and stuff like that to do these, the better they will look. But they'll still come out really yummy. And like I said, you can fill them with absolutely anything you want. Okay, so I hope that was at least a bit easier to see what I do when I, hang on, let me just turn this around. See what I do when I make my fathead dough. So key tips are heat your eggs and your cheese. Make sure that they're all mixed together. Then add the eggs and your baking powder, preferably Bob's Red Mill. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but I love the stuff. And you'll see that foaming action. Work it while it's like that, and then add your almond meal and your xanthan gum. You can use other flours like a flaxseed flour, chia flowers. You could even use the oat fibre and a little bit of the gluten flour if you wanted to as well, and that would give you even more of a puffy one, where some people have actually seen some of mine recently where I actually have done it with those breads, but I don't do it with the cheese, I actually just do it with the bread dough, but you could add that instead of a meal if you run out at the moment. So yeah, there's a few different flours that we can pop in there, and as I showed on the weekend, the sunflower or sesame flour and that as well for nut-free varieties. This works the same for like the nut-free pastry for anyone making that as well. So if anyone's had any fails where they feel the dough's too sticky, you can see straight away, and even now this is not sticky at all, and I've just made it right in front of you. So hopefully that's just given you a few tips, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to use this video now for my recipe to come out for next week. Okay, catches, bye.